So we have something in common that is really funny. We both lived in garages
We did.
when we moved to LA.
Garage kindred sisters. Garage sisters.
Was it horrible or wonderful for you?
You know, at the time, it's kind of just like life, so I don't see it it's just that's where my childhood was, adolescence.
And you
Yeah,
moved
how
with
about
your.
you?
I actually loved it.
You loved it. Okay.
Yeah, I was so excited to be in LA.
Yeah,
And
okay.
I didn't mind.
That's so wild. So like so for me it was 10 to 17. Yeah.
Oh, you lived in a garage for 7 years?
Yeah.
That's worse. That's way
Oh,
worse.
okay. What
Wait,
was
and you-
yours? Like
hold on, you came
month
with-
to month? Was it like your lease was up after 3 months or something?
No, I had no money and I wanted to move here.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And so it was all I could afford.
No, yeah.
But I was
respect.
there for like 8 months.
Okay, yeah.
Um,
Respect, yeah.
And then I kind of like got on my feet with odd
Yeah.
jobs and stuff. But
No,
you moved
good.
with your mom and your grandmother from Japan.
Right, yeah. So it was the three of us in the garage, yeah. And you take what? You take a discount, you know? Whatever is available.
I agree.
Yeah.
As I was researching for this interview, I was thinking, you moved here to a brand new country.
Yeah.
You probably barely know like what is commonplace for food or for anything, let alone what's funny here.
Right.
Did your humor translate?
Gosh, my sense of humor, I think I was more physical back then. So, yeah, I think so. I always love whenever I'm in a new culture, new country or something, to see how I can learn enough of the language so I can start making people laugh. And I don't know if that's like a defense mechanism or what, but I love seeing people have a good time. The worst is when I can't communicate with someone because I don't know enough words or something.
Right.
And so, yeah, I think I quickly was able to pick up enough to be able to like have fun with people at least, or laugh together about something.
Would you say that your comedy is more typically American or typically Japanese humor?
Gosh, for a long time, I thought, oh, my Japanese sensibilities were still coming out. Because Japanese comedy is very slapstick. It's a very
Yeah.
physical comedy. I feel like a lot of cultures outside of American is like that. You know, if you watch variety shows or talk shows in other countries, it's
Yeah.
usually more physical comedy, I feel like.
Like skits or like.
Yeah, like stand-up comedy isn't huge in non-English speaking countries. Maybe for a reason. I don't know if stand-up was invented in America. I think it was.
We were talking about Japanese versus American
right.
humor. Yeah.
So then you go to another country. I just did a whole month in Scotland. And while I was there, I was like, I am more American than I thought.
Interesting.
And I was like, I'm such an American. I became like a patriot almost while I was there. The people in UK have terrible sense of humor. They laugh. They watch comedy shows like who died? You know, like we're at a funeral.
You say that because as I was researching,
Yeah.
I was looking up the difference between Japanese and American humor.
Uh-huh.
And this travel consultant, his name is Mark Johnson, he said Japanese humor is
Hold
often...
on. You took advice from a guy named Mark Johnson about Japanese culture versus American culture?
So he's married to a Japanese woman.
Oh, even better. What else? He also speaks Spanish fluently?
And he cooks Italian food, yeah.
Okay.
But he goes, Japanese humor is often a bit dry, very obvious and slapstick, especially on TV or films. People tend to take everything quite literally, which is why British humor can be difficult to grasp.
Oh,
So there's
interesting.
something about British and Japanese humor that don't mix.
Oh, interesting.
It seems.
So maybe I am still like Japanese sensibilities, you know?
Maybe, I don't
Who
know.
knows? I feel they're still like behind too in diversity in the UK.
Yeah.
So also seeing someone like me go on stage, you know, I already have to disarm them to be like, no, I'm not like an international student here. No, I'm actually the comedian.
Yeah, that's not good.
Yeah.
That's not nice. You shouldn't have to do that.
Right, you know, not to like bash them so much. But I'm saying being away from America really made me be like, wow, I'm like actually very American.
When did you start doing stand-up?
I started 12 years ago. Yeah.
And you just got up on stage at like a comedy store or something?
No. That's 12 years. That's how you go missing, okay? If you're a woman, 12 years ago, you just go by yourself to comedy store. The shows are late, right? All the people, there's alleyways. That's how people go missing. I started so I took a class online. I found a class on Craigslist, which is so much safer to just trust that it's actually going to be a class like it says. Nothing makes sense. Nothing in the world makes sense. But anyway, I found a class for women online called Pretty Funny Women. And then so I was like, oh, this would be a safer way for me to practice stand up and,
Cool.
you know, yeah.
And then you were the star of the class, and they were like, now you go to the Comedy Store.
Well, everyone got to do the show at the end of the class. It was like, 12 weeks or something. Yeah. And then.
Who were your early influences for your career? Because I saw Chelsea Handler comment on every one of your Instagram
Oh, yeah,
posts.
we're friends, yeah.
I love her.
I love her too. I grew up watching her in the garage.
Me too.
I'd be like, yeah.
That's what you watch in the garage.
Yeah, something. So you were up late too.
Yeah.
Garage makes you stay up late. It's not like you have a great night's sleep, So you're just kind of staring at the ceiling and then the door, and that's about it.
The TV in my garage was so old. It had a cable connecting the remote
Oh my gosh.
to the TV. I'd never seen anything like it.
What? Like a Nintendo, like an old school.
It must have been from the 60s or something.
That's so wild.
I know.
Oh my God.
But I watched Chelsea lately.
Yeah, I would too. And I feel like, props to you. Changing locations as an adult is harder.
Yeah, it's hard.
Because especially by yourself. So I had at least, adults with me.
Yeah, but also when I was reading about it, it sounds like your adults were like chaotic in the house too.
Yeah, they were not great adults. They were not. Yeah, of course. I'm a comedian.
Right.
Yeah.
Like it all came from somewhere.
Of course. Yeah. But yeah, so anyway, Chelsea lately.
Yeah, we're going to get back to your family because your grandmother's a huge part of your videos. But so Chelsea you're friends with, which I'm very jealous about. Who else did you look to?
I was watching Margaret Cho, Robin Williams too, actually. Wow. He's very physical, and I think that still spoke to my sort of physical comedy sensibilities at the time. And then Tig Notaro. I don't know if you know her comedy. She's more deadpan, but she's all words, and that's more classic American stand-up comedy, I feel like. Yeah, so those were some of my influences.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned Tig because they directed your HBO stand-up special.
Yes, yeah.
Which is pretty amazing. I also read you toured with Mike, I don't know how to pronounce his name, Birbiglia?
Yes, you crushed it. Yeah.
I did?
Yeah, Mike Birbiglia, yeah. I think you were getting all the points from the white guy. What was the guy?
Mike Johnson?
Mark Johnson?
Yeah, the white guy.
Mike Birbiglia, yeah.
And so your HBO special is coming out soon. When does it come out?
December 10th. Already.
And you said, I wrote this special when I realized that all the things that made me feel like a freak growing up were actually my superpowers.
Yeah.
What are your superpowers?
Well, and by the way, I feel that way about everyone.
I do too.
Everything that ever made you feel like, oh gosh, I'm so different because I talk like this or I look like this, that's actually your superpower. And it's actually what's going to draw other people to you. Yeah. It's what's going to not just disarm people, but I feel like make other people feel seen too, What great about was the way I talked, and I have a weird cadence. It's not my first language. I make up words sometimes and just hope it means what it means, in my head.
Yeah.
And I think that's, and so in a way I talk slower, than maybe most people or a lot of people, especially for comedy. And, but I think that makes it so that for example, if you talk slower, if you're a more deadpan kind of delivery kind of person, people are forced to lean in and really listen to you, know, right? Instead of all the other noise that's happening. I need to, what are they saying? Maybe they talk quieter. That's a superpower, that I think that draws attention in more. So then you're able to use your body as the vessel of the messages that you're actually trying to get out into the world. And also making it so that other people feel seen too. Maybe other people also have like not a quote unquote normal way of speaking
Right.
or whatever, or are quirky and offbeat, and that's okay, you know. There's more of us out there, I think. That's what I mean by superpower. It's not
I
like I'm
love that.
fighting crime.
You did a really funny video about how Natalie Portman was discovered in a pizza parlor.
Right.
I'd always heard that Channing Tatum was discovered walking down South Beach.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, but that never happened to me.
Yeah,
You know?
just walking down South.
Yeah.
Chris Hemsworth was discovered getting off a bus.
You're kidding.
Yeah, from like Australia or something. So he came to Australia, like walked off a bus or something like that. And then they were like, hey, sore? Or whatever, however it happened.
Yeah, like 20 mil, here you go.
Yeah.
Wild.
Yeah.
But you would go to this pizza parlor, but near you.
Yeah.
But
I
the
call
same
it
thing
pizza
didn't
parlor, it
happen.
was Papa John's. Yeah.
Not
Papa
quite a
John's would be
parlor.
like, oh, that's so nice. We're a parlor now. I think parlor sounds fancier, right?
It does.
Yeah, fork and knife, eat the pizza like that. And that was a Papa John's. But I was like, little do, it's walking distance from my garage.
It's perfect.
What I mean is, you have to be careful what you tell kids, right? About success stories. Oh, Chris Rock worked at McDonald's before he became famous. Chris Rock worked at. How long did he work there for?
3 weeks, right?
Before I get me a job at McDonald's, and next thing I know, I'm being promoted to manager, and I've been there 25 years. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, but Chris Rock worked here too. You know what? Natalie Portman was discovered by a producer at the pizza parlor. She was like 12. I don't know. I have questions for the adult male producer that went up to a 12-year-old while she was just trying to have dinner. But no, I know. It's like, well, you want to be in a movie, girl. You know what I mean? But as a girl growing up, I was like, I want that to happen to me.
Right.
So that's why I started going to Papa John's. And all I got was customer of the week. So
How did you get discovered?
how did I get discovered?
Yeah, how did you get discovered? What was your moment?
So I got off a bus. So I was on the big blue bus, right?
Okay.
No, I mean, gosh, it's, it comes in waves. You truly, I feel like, keep getting discovered over and over and over again. There are many comedians, for example, that get rediscovered in many different ways because
Right.
I think that's why it's good for you to have like sort of a wide spectrum of things that you do. For me, I think what really propelled, because I've been doing stand-up for 12 years, but, there are moments that sort of, whether it's like going viral from something that'll...
Yeah.
I think the big one for me was when I did a stand-up set during an earthquake,
That was
and that
crazy.
went viral. Yeah, that.
So tell everybody what happened.
So I was at the Ice House Comedy Club in Pasadena, and it was 2019, July 5th. I remember because July 4th, there was an earthquake too. It's Los Angeles every day. Or, we talk about it, it's coming, and it does, right? July 4th, there was an earthquake, and then July 5th, I was on stage, and a 7.1 magnitude earthquake hit while, I was going up. But I was going up, dancing. So, at first I thought, and everyone was screaming, woo, 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 or I thought it was screams of
So
excitement.
you thought you were literally
I was
bringing the
like,
house down.
I was like, oh, stop it. Yeah, I was like, oh my God, this move. And then I realized there were screams of terror, right? Everyone going, because they were scared because the earth was shaking. But in my head, when I realized it was an earthquake, because people started going, it's an earthquake,
Right.
In my head, I still want to entertain.
Mm-hmm.
So my first thought was, oh shit, sorry, I thought I was making that happen with my moves, whatever, and still getting them laughing. But yeah, so that happened, and then when I realized the danger of this situation, I wanted to make sure everyone was okay. So I called out for the house manager, and suddenly you're in control of 200 people, and you have no skills for that.
Were you surprised at your own courage?
Not so much, no, because stand-up comedy already requires you to think quick on your feet.
Yeah.
And I see stand-up comedy as a service. It's a service industry job.
Say more.
Well, some comedians treat it like it's therapy for them. You should not do that. People bought tickets. The jokes should be good. You should have worked on them. You should have, sure, it's okay to try new jokes. You should. That's part of our job. But, I'm not, my philosophy isn't to use the stage time to be like, I had a terrible day and anyway, I don't need to find the joke in this because I'm just talking out how I feel. So this happened and this, some comedians do that. But I think it's a very, very much a service industry job. You're there to entertain and make sure everyone else walks out having a better time than you are. So with all of that in mind, when an earthquake hits, of course I'm already service oriented, where it's like,
Right.
are you guys okay? You're okay? Everyone's safe? Okay, now, boom, jokes, because we're still at a comedy show, I think, and
That was amazing.
oh, thank you, yeah. No, I know, again, like 12 years of comedy, and and my stand-up pretty good. It's pretty good, but
It's really good.
apparently, during an earthquake, it's out of this world, and that's when it went viral.
But that's so interesting to me because that's not something that's in your control. You just had to, you could have been going on for years being as great as you are, and no one would have seen it had it not been for this earthquake.
Right. That's why you have to always be filming.
Yeah.
Always be filming.
ABS.
Because if the club wasn't filming that set, they just happened to be filming it. It's just stories I'll tell about this earthquake that I did a show through.
Right.
But I have footage proof. It's so wild that in this moment
It
you
really
do have to
is.
have cameras.
Was there anything you had to get over to really start killing it on stage?
Yeah, I think it's definitely self-doubt of, do they really want to see me and hear my thoughts, So sometimes you'll do all these wild things to avoid honoring that part of you, letting you be you. Like, I created a whole ass Japanese game show that I would do a monthly show of, where I do a little bit of stand-up in, but mostly I was hosting this game show with rules and contestants and all these things that I built. Because I wasn't sure if I could just do an hour of stand-up and tour with it and people would want to see it. I was avoiding that.
And now your special is going to be on HBO.
An hour of stand-up that I was touring with, But sometimes you do have to do other things to realize, no, you're just hindering yourself, It's procrastination, right?
So when did it switch for you? You just woke up one day or did someone say something to you?
Oh, there was this thing, the pandemic. The pandemic hit.
I haven't heard of it.
Oh my God. Should we tell her?
I was asleep for 2 years.
Oh, I'm so glad. I wish I was.
I
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, no.
The pandemic hit and it actually was positive for you.
I mean, I was able to look more inwards and realize what I really wanted to do with my craft and, why I'm on this earth and stuff like that, right? That I think a lot of us went through. And then I was like, why am I hindering myself from doing an hour of stand-up? I've been working so hard at it. And so, so that's when I really finessed and wrote out my hour, found out the structure, and I was ready to tour, But I had to also garner the audience, too, before I could do that. So I also was able to do that during the pandemic, just by speaking my truth to camera and being the silly self that I am, that you've seen on social media, yeah.
Your videos make me laugh so hard. You did one with your husband. Well, you did a ton with your husband, and then I saw you post one where you were like, my husband has asked me to stop being in my videos.
Oh, yeah. That's kind of in the hour, actually, that sort of
It
premise,
is?
yeah.
Do you mind telling it? Because it is so funny.
Oh, sure, yeah. I think it's that, right, because I was a cheerleader in high school. I love synchronized choreographed dances with other people. So I was making my husband do these with me, where we would learn a dance together. I would shoot it, post it online. I would make him match with me. Same outfit, same hairstyle, everything.
Right, you had wigs for him. It was
Yeah.
you were decked out.
A wig of my hair I would put on him. And at one point, he broke down and cried. because I was being a terror. You know, I was like 5, 6, 7, 8, get it right, keep your wig on. You know, that was me. Get it right, do it again, do it again. That was me. So he was crying, and he said to me, I hate doing these with you. I'm never gonna do these with you ever again. And he goes, because you always want to make us look like we're sisters. And that killed me.
I understand why.
I was like, oh my God, I have been trying to make him. I was an only child and I've always wanted a sister. And I was trying to make my husband that.
It is so funny. When you see the footage of it, like with the wigs, I was crying in bed.
I feel bad for him, yeah.
So fortunately for your grandmother,
Mm-hmm.
your husband's out of most of the videos. Some still, he makes appearances. But your grandmother's in.
Right, my grandma's
She's
in on it.
a star.
She's a star.
How
Yeah.
did you start putting your grandmother in videos?
She's, you know, she's always been a caretaker all her life. She raised 3 kids on her own and then raised me too, and still takes care of my mother who has mental illness. And so she's never gotten to like play around much. She was always like working, you know, working long hours so that her kids were fine, you know, and that I was fine, and planning moves to America and stuff
Right.
like that. And so she never got to play much. I never really saw her laughing when I was growing up at all. And so when I found the platform online to just sort of be silly and have fun, you know, she saw how much fun I was having. And one day she was like, hey, like, can I maybe get in on it too? And I was like, really? Okay, yeah. And so I was like, okay, so we're doing this dance, you just do this. And she's like, okay. And then we would do it, and we would laugh and laugh and laugh. And it was cool. It was kind of her way of letting loose. And it was our way of sort of having a good time and decompressing. We've talked about it. It's hard for her to say. I have a cousin who lives with my grandma and is also my grandma's granddaughter, but in my heart, yeah, I think I'm the favorite. How can I not be?
How could you
Just
not
look at
be?
me.
Look at that
Look
face.
at me. Yeah.
In Yiddish, we say Shena Punam,
What's that mean?
like beautiful face.
Oh, Shayna Punham.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, look at that cute face.
Yeah. That's so, I like to think that.
Your name actually means sincere, kind child. I
Yeah.
thought that was so pretty.
Yeah, my father chose my name. It's a lot of pressure,
Yeah.
right? Sincere, kind child.
Yeah.
I think I am those things.
Do you think, I always think people live up to their names.
Interesting. What's your name mean?
Danielle means only God can judge me.
Okay, that's hard to like
Yeah, it's
decide if it like really you live up to it. I mean, actually you can, because it's like, well, it's up to him, right? So you really can't. Yeah.
Tell.
Wow.
Yeah. But I think people, like, are there other people in Japan? Is that a common name?
Otsuko, not as common. It's not as common.
Because it seemed really unique.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, what the equivalent of that? Maybe like a Barbara.
Yeah.
Maybe.
It's my idol, Barbara Walters.
Oh.
You're speaking my language. Okay, so you mentioned that you were able to allow your grandmother to play.
Yeah.
She now has 18,000 Twitter followers.
Oh, yeah,
Which
yeah.
I love.
Yeah. I've created a monster.
Is she?
Because now she's always like, what should I say to my followers? What should I say? I'm like, nothing. You don't need to say just all day. What do you think? Should I say this? And, you're 87. Just live your life. But yeah, boom. She just overnight 18,000 followers.
I think that's amazing.
Do you know how long some comedians spend on Twitter for years trying to get 18,000 followers?
Their whole lives.
There's now my grandma, just a regular person, no interest in entering any industry, art industry, nothing.
She entered. She's in.
I think it's because she's a kind presence. She's like Paddington Bear. You know, do you know Paddington? So Paddington Bear has a huge following.
Right.
Right? And it's like, why? He's not real. But it's because he's kind. On Twitter, every day he just says really nice things. Sometimes they're really funny and cute.
Yeah.
And grandma's like that.
She is.
And I think people want that.
What other experiences have you been able to give your family or friends because of your success?
when we shot the HBO special,
Yeah.
we were able to fly first class. And we never,
Yeah.
oh my God, never. I've only locked eyes with the first class people while I had to walk to my real seat, right?
But you took your whole family. That's amazing.
Just my grandma and my husband. But it was cool where we were like laying down flat, you know? Oh my God, we were, you know what I mean? Being like, we went from a garage to being able to lay down flat on an airplane while eating beef.
Incredible.
It was really cool, yeah.
So I reached out to interview you because I found your profile through Ava DuVernay.
Oh yeah.
She follows you.
Yes.
And I found you and I thought you were so talented. And then while I was researching, I learned you invented the drop challenge.
Oh, right.
I had no idea.
Yeah, I didn't know either.
You are a viral sensation.
Shoot, yeah.
It's, for anybody who doesn't know, it's like the da 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 da, and you drop down to the ground.
Yeah, Beyonce goes, give me some, and then, boom. That's the beat, that's the beat drop that I'm
Thank you
making
for
with
that.
it. Boom. It sounds like that.
How did you put this together? How did the drop challenge begin?
I've always been like really into like, I feel like every process for me takes years.
Yeah.
So that song is an older song, Beyonce's Partition. It's been around for a while. But when it first came out, I was obsessed with that. Ooh, that bass drop. What is that called? Like the, you know what I'm saying? Right? And I was like, gosh, I was just obsessed with it. And then I kept thinking about it. I was also like a choreographer when I was a cheerleader in high school. I kind of have a dance background. And then, so that song was just in my head. And then one day, me and my grandma were in Little Tokyo, where I go a lot. And we were just hanging out. And I think I was just trying to make my grandma laugh. We would be like, oh, okay, we had to hit a bunch of stores. But on the way to get to the stores, I was just like, just my knees, I was just...
You would drop.
Out of nowhere. And she would laugh and laugh. And I was like, wait, there's a song that has a drop beat every like 3 seconds, that Beyonce song. And so I just decided to like edit it together where it's just us like shopping in Little Tokyo. And right when you don't think anything's gonna happen, I just kind of give up and drop, you know?
And then nearly every celebrity reenacted it. It went super viral.
Yeah, I think
That
it's
was
because
wild.
it's so easy to recreate, you know? And yeah, it's weird and funny.
I read an article yesterday. The title was TikTok ate the internet. And it made me laugh because it kind of did. TikTok did eat the internet. It changed your life too. Like you have huge amount of followers on there.
Yeah,
How do you think about it?
It's so silly, you know? But that's why I got into comedy.
Right.
It was so that other people can have a good time. So I love it. Yeah.
This joke about everyone thinking that you're more of an adult now that you're married.
Mm-hmm. Well, right, yeah.
So for you, because you and your husband are really cute together. You look comfortable. The first time I moved in with a man, I was terrified because I was like, where do I poop? Like I can't move in with somebody, a man especially. I love living alone now.
You do, yeah. No, that's great. You're like you're an autonomous, independent person.
Right. But for you, how did you feel moving in with a man?
So the premise of that joke is actually about how getting married is the childlike thing to do.
Why?
It means you can't be an autonomous, independent person. You know, married people say things like, I found my best friend. You know, we're very childlike. Like, everything we own, split it in half. That way it's half and half. Yeah. You know, it's actually a very childlike mentality. We do everything together all the time. We can't be alone. Being alone and single, that's more adult. That's very adult. To not need someone to hold your hand through it.
That's so deep.
You know what I mean? You don't have your best friend, you know, you do everything with together, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You have to find an apartment by yourself. You have to get to places on time. You don't have anyone telling you, hey, honey, like, you need to get ready. No, you do it on your own.
Yeah.
You need to seem emotionally stable, way more than if you're married. You already have someone.
Right, they're locked in.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's what I mean by...
It's funny.
You know, we're comfortable, but I think it's because we're childlike and the partnership was very important. We needed that.
Where did you two meet?
We met in LA through a friend.
Like a setup?
No, just like it was like a project that we were working on. It's kind of a
that's cool.
boring story. I wish it was epic.
You could make one up. You met during the earthquake.
Yeah, he was in the audience.
I saved his life.
He thought it was so cool the way I handled it.
Yeah. Okay, so one of your videos also made me laugh where you said you've been using the wrong emoji, like the hug emoji.
Oh yeah, this one? Yeah, I didn't know that was the hug emoji. Because it doesn't look like a hug.
It looks like spirit fingers.
You should never hug someone like that.
agree.
People would think you're a murderer. They would be like, oh my God, it's a serial killer, it's a serial killer, what are you doing? I'm trying to give you a hug. But I've been using it like to present new information gently. You know?
Gently.
Yeah, gently, yeah. So like, oh, excuse me, I'm having some trouble understanding the language in paragraph 4, you know. Like that, yeah. Or like, girl, you've been telling everyone we're best friends, but from my understanding, we haven't had that talk. You know, that's when I use it. Not to give hugs, yeah. Also, have you seen the water emoji? If you type in water for the emoji.
Is it the drops?
Yeah. It's like so thirsty looking.
It is.
I'm not sending that to my family.
No, it feels sexual.
It's sexual. It's 3 drops.
Yeah.
Like-
people do use it. They don't use it the right way.
No, I know, but my poor aunts and uncles are using that emoji just to be like, make sure to bring water. It's gonna be a long hike. And it just looks like they're sexting me, you know?
So embarrassing. For them.
Yeah. That's cool. Drip, 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 you know? It's hot today, make sure to drink water. I'm like, man, it looks like me and Uncle Paul are having an affair. It's messed up.
Okay, we have to do some rapid fire.
Okay.
Your tour merch includes food jewelry. You're
Oh,
not
right.
wearing any today. You have
I'm
egg
not.
earrings.
Yes, I do.
What's your favorite meal?
My favorite meal. Oh my gosh, I have so many.
Yeah?
Right now, it's usually when I'm craving.
Okay, give me what you're craving now
Oh gosh.
at this moment.
I really love like Japanese curry. Yeah. When I'm hungover, I'm a menudo girl. Johanna Enough,
Who is that?
Swedish dance hall queen.
Okay. Oh, that's probably great. The best thing you've ever quit.
Basil planting.
A celeb encounter you'll never forget.
Winona Ryder.
Can you elaborate on that one?
This was like independent film festival days. I was in independent films and stuff, and we won an award at a award show.
Yeah.
And a bunch of celebrities were there. So we got just $15,000, but they give it in a big check.
Yeah.
And I saw Winona Ryder, and I wanted to buy her a drink. So I ran up to her with the check, but it was covering my face, so it looked like a check with legs. So I was like, Winona. And I said, let me buy you a drink, girl. And all I heard was her screaming. and then when I took the check down, she had run away.
What's your best public speaking tip?
Oh, public speaking tip? I think just like, if you think you're scared, just know that that's the same part in your brain that's where you're excited. So you're actually excited.
A book that you think should be required reading, something that you
A
love.
book? I actually haven't read a book in a long time.
No way.
Yeah.
How do you get your
You think I
information?
have
TikTok?
TikTok, Twitter,
Grandma.
Instagram.
Yeah. You have an 87-year-old woman with a
People
lot of
just
knowledge.
tell me things.
What does a life well lived look like to you?
Oh, you have to be your sincere, authentic self. Don't be living trying to be cool or, I think the worst thing you can do is try to be cool in a way everyone supposedly wants you to be cool. You'll be unhappy. You're already cool.
I always do a pretty smart question.
Oh, yeah. Is this rapid?
Yeah, this
Okay.
is rapid.
Okay.
Pick whichever one speaks
Okay.
to you.
Okay. What do you need help with most right now? Probably organization.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you have a lot going on. It's hard.
Yeah, but people figure it out.
You
People
could hire
figure
someone,
out.
maybe.
Yeah, I think I'm that kind of person that needs to get so rich just so that I can.
Hire an organizer.
Someone can tell me, hey, Pick that up. What is that?
Well, Chelsea Handler actually said that she forgot how to do things because everybody was doing it.
Doing
And
it
so
for
finally
her.
she was like, I have to fire everyone so I can remember how to be a person.
See, I don't know what that kind of life is like, though.
neither.
No, I want someone to tell me. I need, like, what is that? Like a
Guidance.
life coach?
Yeah.
Not a life coach. Someone to yell at me. Hey, napping again? Like, I want that. Who's that? A mother-in-law? I just need that.
Atsuko, what's the smartest decision you've ever made?
The smartest decision I've ever made was to honor the thing I was hiding about myself and go, no, running a game show isn't your interest. Sometimes the key in life is knowing what you're not into, right? And why are you doing the thing you're not into so much? Are you procrastinating from the thing you actually want to do? Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for this.
Yeah.
Awesome.